Karahala, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Brakatahu, Brakatahu Shai, Brakatahu, Brakatahu Shai, Brakatahu Shai, the water above, called Kadash. I'd like to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach this truth, the 100% truth, according to the Bible. I want to start off in Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And I'm going to hit up a couple of videos off of TikTok and YouTube that I'll proceed with I'll finish off with a couple of precepts after that. Bear with me for a second.
They auction off the United States to the highest bidder, not to the people, not to you, to the venture capitalists, the billionaires, the ones who build nothing but own everything, the ones who...
By the way, fair use, fair use. This is only for entertainment purposes only, not making any monetary gain from this, just fair use. Only for entertainment purposes only.
Don't innovate, just extract. They liquidate your government. They shut down the Department of Education, so your kids grow up too uninformed to fight back. They dismantle the SEC so fraud isn't a crime, it's a business model. They hollow out the FDA so drug trials need no regulations, just investors. Tech elites seize control, not by election, but by force. Their operatives flood the system, take every position, and lock down every chokehold. They capture the administrative state. Every decision serves private profit, not the public good. They devalue your money. They exploit your labor. They reprogram the financial system. They replace the dollar with Bitcoin, a Ponzi scheme with no refund policy. Crypto billionaires become your new central bankers. Hyperinflation and financial collapse don't happen by accident. They happen by design. They erase labor laws. They shatter union power. They crush wages. The gig economy expands not for opportunity, but for obedience. They call it freedom. You call it fighting for scraps. They militarize the police, not for safety, for suppression. AI surveillance, drone enforcement, automated policing, all built to neutralize you before you can organize. They privatize and expand the weapons industry, not for defense, for profit. Conflict isn't a risk, it's an investment. Billionaire cities rise. Private compounds wall off the chaos they create. They build a network state, funded by you, but designed for them. No laws, no oversight, no escape. They erase your democracy. They dissolve your country. They turn the economy into a casino where you are the chips. And the house always wins. First, they auction off the United States to...
And that's pretty much their playbook, man. You know, they got the deck already stacked. You know, you think you're playing a fair game, like you got a fair shot at this thing as a people, mainly you Israelites, man, but they already got the deck stacked against you, and they have a ceiling placed on you, you know. Only allow you to gain but so much within the system. And it's corrupted, man, from the bottom to the top, man. So we have to be very well aware of the times that we in, man, and who we are dealing with. Let me go back over it again. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And I'm going to pull up another video off of TikTok. This is Jimmy Dore. Fair use, fair use. Only for entertainment purposes only.
Come see us on tour in Dallas, Austin, Baltimore, Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, New York, Atlantic City, Levittown, Cohost, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for the link for the cheapest tickets. Hey, you want to know how to cool a country? So here's Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut. He went to the steps of USAID to tell the truth about how USAID protects America and the real reason Elon Musk wants to shut it down. You want to hear this garbage? Listen to this.
Elon Musk has been floating all sorts of awful, terrible conspiracy theories about what happens at USAID. Let's make it very clear that every single day, America is safer because of what happens at USAID. USAID fights terrorist groups all across this world, making sure that we address the underlying causes for a retreat to terrorism. USAID chases China all around the world, making sure that China doesn't monopolize contracts for critical minerals and port infrastructure all around the world.
What?
It supports freedom fighters everywhere in this world. Up until yesterday, delivering firewood, for instance, to the brave Ukrainian defenders on the Eastern Front.
What?
So that's the kind of great stuff that USAID does. Hey, you want to know what they really do? How far is the United States willing to go to block African collaboration? Here, in this video clip, Mike Benz revealed that a destabilization training initially published by the U.S. 1st Special Forces Command. Well, let's just play it. Let's just play it.
Everyone can look this up if you're listening right now. In 2021, the U.S. Special Forces Perspective, under Mark Milley, our chairman of the Joint Chiefs, put out an entire instruction manual for how the U.S. military can work with the State Department and our intelligence services to organize a rental riot, to destabilize a country in order to bring them to the negotiating table. They gave an example of a hypothetical West African country where a member of U.S. Special Forces is on a separate mission, driving down a highway, and notices a billboard for Chinese infrastructure investment into a new port in this Western African country. The unit takes note of this billboard on a highway in Western Africa with Chinese symbols on it. They do their own investigation and figure out that this is part of a real estate development project from Chinese investors, that as part of that development project will have the construction of a Chinese naval port in this West African country, where in theory China would then be able to project naval influence in the Atlantic Ocean. What the Special Forces Guide calls for is coordination with the State Department, coordination with our intelligence services, coordination with our psychological operations unit to take all of our assets in that West African region. And in that case, what they did is they planned to work with the unions. What they did is they embarked in a social media influence campaign. They would activate all their media assets, all of their civil society institutional assets, and all their union assets to have the union labor pool in that West African country. Well, actually, there was one thing that happened first, is they first then went, in this hypothetical, the State Department sent a delegation to persuade the West African country to forbid the development license to the Chinese developer. And the head of that West African government said no. Because something was happening in the hypothetical in the next 30 days, there was a time sensitivity to generate an instability event to stop this using time-sensitive emergency. And so the way they generated that was they worked with their union contacts in the region and the media contacts in the region and created this whole social media campaign to inflame the sentiments of the West African labor union workforce who were working for Chinese companies at the time. Because in this hypothetical, the Chinese mining firms and Chinese industry was employing a lot of these Africans. And it was to destabilize the country, to bring the mines, to bring the factories, to bring all of the Chinese production in the region to a halt, and to put all these Africans out of jobs, and to bring the African government effectively to a standstill. At the same time, in their own Special Forces manual, it called for support from U.S. aid to provide these same striking miners alternative jobs, so that while they were striking from the Chinese labor companies, they were still getting paid by U.S. taxpayers. So they were financially bribed effectively to boycott Chinese industry and to devastate their own country's government, create this crisis, and then use the State Department delegation to go back to the negotiating table with the West African government and promise to end the destabilization if the development was halted. And in that hypothetical, the West African government then rejects the license for the real estate development of China, and that is declared as an unalloyed success by the U.S. Special Forces and their partner network in the State Department and Intelligence. And this is the way of our diplomacy in 2021. And this is all publicly available if you look at the Special Forces prospectus. And when this goes live, I'll post this on my X account at Mike Ben Cyber, so that you can, don't take my word for it.
But yeah, you can see how this double move, man. He's very crafty in what he do, mainly here in Babylon the Great. They destabilize a lot of these other countries, man, like over in Africa and South America, and then they destabilize these countries by pitting them against each other, using propaganda to things that work against their best interests. And then, they come in at the end of the day like they're going to save these people, but the whole time they really undermining them. But yeah, we have to be mindful of the times we in, man, and who we dealing with, man. We dealing with that serpent. let me
So
hear what they say.
that's what USAID does. It creates instability. It uses millions and millions of your taxpayer dollars for propaganda through social media, through invented newspaper and news outlets that are there only to push propaganda, to destabilize, to cause riots, to destabilize other countries so we can force our will.
But yeah, so you have to realize the type of devil that we're dealing with, especially here in Babylon the Great. We up underneath the rule of these oligarchs. Really, they rule the whole planet. United States is just another corporation, or Babylon the Great here is another corporation up under these oligarchs, man. And they do their bidding. It's another precept I want to pull up. See if I can find it real quick. Bear with me. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 16. The book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 16. Well, we'll start all the way at the top because it gives a clear indication and description of Esau Edom. We start at 8, we're going down. A friend cannot be known in prosperity. An enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. In prosperity of a man, enemies will grieve, but in adversity, even a friend will depart. Never trust thy enemies, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. Thou shalt be unto him as thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in the place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such come nigh wild beasts? In verse 16, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but he will find opportunity. He will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. So, that's how this devil is. That's a perfect description of these oligarchs that rule the earth, and mainly here in Babylon the Great, that whore that sits upon the beast. So we're going to go back. We'll go back to the lesson and finish off these precepts. Let's start again from the first one, Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And right now, people here in Babylon the Great are suffering. They realize that the gig is up, man. That the devil has really put these inhabitants here into a trick bag, man. They gave them an illusion of, the big house, you work hard, you get the big house, the picket fence, get to raise a family. And the whole time this devil has been dismantling all those things, that leaving you, putting you in a position to be a perpetual slave, man. Broke up your homes, your families, took away your jobs, got you out here, paying this high ass rent, inflation through the roof. And they take time to take money and use your money that you pay into the system to go across the whole world and use it to destabilize these other countries do the same thing. And it's just a repeated process they do over and over again. But, the Lord is exposing this devil for who he is, man. He's showing you who this devil is. Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13. And the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread amongst the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. And right now, we're pretty much in the chokehold up under these devils, man. They got you in a point where you can't afford to go out here and purchase, whole health type food, foods that's not been GMO altered, food with all these chemicals in it, things. So, most Jakes, they take the cheapest source of sustenance, which is all type of chemicals that's going to destroy them. They in most of your Jake neighborhoods, they put the worst type of foods, and access to medical and all these other things. So this devil is pretty much got Jakes mourning out here. A lot of Jakes can't afford the house, the rent, and most Jakes, are here on their own because they done broke up the families. So one person working one job and your rent is like $2,000 in some of these places, man. It's almost impossible, especially if the income is not going up to meet the price of inflation. We're going to go through 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And right now, the Lord is peeling back the layers off this onion, man, and we be able to see how this devil operates, man. Lord is putting these put this knowledge out here, man, by way of the internet, through the prophets on the highways and byways, and this man is being exposed for who he is, man. Like I say, Esau is very crafty in what he do through his laws, his manipulation, and all the other technique devices that they use, man, like through the media, through propaganda. Therefore, he's able to forward his enterprise and continue to destroy the people. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8, my last precept. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the wickedness of his coming. So we look forward to the day of the Lord, man, and to deliver us out of this, this hellhole that we in, that our people are going through. Just repeated the cycle that they're putting on our people, really on the whole world, man. This whole world want to see this devil come out of power. But, Lord will, you go in the book of Revelations, explains to you, man, that the Lord is going to take him out of power within only in 1 day, 1 hour. And then we're going to bring righteousness on the earth, and the people are not going to mourn anymore. Because right now, up under the inhabitants of Esau, Edom being in rulership, the whole world is in a chokehold. So with that, Lord will, this lesson is edifying. All praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. With that, say Shalom.